Huzzah! We're live. Hello. All right. Here. All
Huzzah.
right.
Huzzah.
Let's go. Yes. Welcome one. Welcome all. I appreciate you guys hanging out and being all chill and whatnot in the chat. In case you are confused and wondering who I am, my name is Antonio Bryce. I am the creator of the comic book series Brand and its upcoming sequel, Brand Way of the Gun, which will be launching at the end of this month. You can get in on the mailing list. I've got a link to that in the description. But I also have a link to another site, BladeNite.com. They have some comics coming out, I believe, on March the 13th. Is that not correct?
That is correct.
It's correct. They're both coming to Indiegogo. And we have, I'm assuming you're the owner of BladeNite.com, Buddy Lord. And
formerly, the artist formerly known as Dr. Wright.
Artist formerly known as Dr. Wright. Yes. And I'm probably gonna butcher it. Is that Xevious? I don't know.
Yeah, Xevious. People call me X on here. So yeah.
Okay. Well, Xevious, welcome to the Ikari Press channel. How are you, sir?
I'm great, man. Thanks for having us on. This should be fun.
Yes. All right. Well, the Good Doctor, or formerly known as the Good Doctor. We've had a few conversations here and there and been in some private rooms together and cohabitated, so you've been with Indicron and all this. So let's go all the way back to the beginning, because you were doing the Indicron thing. That's why you first came under my radar. And you had been teasing these projects that you were working on at least as far back as last year, I recall. So kind of rewind and catch us up with where you've been.
All righty. So yeah. Okay. Well, from the first moments that I was that I was checking out Comics Kid, I was like, okay, well, I've never made a comic book, but I've written all my life, so I think I can put something together here. So I had this manuscript that I really liked. I thought it was one of my best, and I'm like, I'm going to turn this into a comic book. So it's gone through a couple of different iterations. When I first started with Indicron, it was actually, I was just kind of helping out Pixel. Kind of doing some back end stuff. He would let me, he gave me access to the back end, and like I would help him put in, like somebody's book or whatever, you know what I mean? Talk about this. And sometimes I'd spice up the synopsis. I mean, I would ask them, I'd be like, hey, what do you think of this? And they'd say, yeah, that sounds great. And I'd put that in there, you know what I mean? And then I had access on TweetDeck to Indicron for a little bit. And so I would promote, I would do some of the promotion and that kind of thing. He didn't give me much. I couldn't write anything. All I could really do was like retweet stuff, and it was kind of limited, but I still, could help out. And he basically, that's all Pixel and I wanted to do with Indicron, was just sort of help people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when I had him on, I had to. I was like, I didn't mean to snap at you, but he's talking about, well, I don't do this for money, but he's talking about how many thousands of dollars he sunk into the damn site. I'm like, dude, put some Google ads up on there or something, get some of your costs back, because I know how expensive it is running. I ran websites for almost a decade and stuff, and I knew the bandwidth and stuff. I had one that was a search engine and all this kind of thing, and I was like, man, you lose all kinds of money trying to do stuff like that. You should at least get compensated. I know he was talking when we sold T-shirts and other merch and stuff, and I was like, I know from my own merch sales that they don't always pay the bills. So sometimes you create something that people are like, oh, that's cool. Like,
and that's kind of where, you were talking about him earlier. I don't know if you want to bring him into it, but Jean-Luc kind of came in. Jean-Luc was one of the things that he did, or he said that he did, I don't even know, but that he seemed to be sort of like a software architect, and somebody that could come in and he said, we need to monetize this. And so he's actually the one that implemented the kind of streaming band, like the Indicron, you have like the stream at the top,
right?
The rotating banner or whatever. He wanted to be able to do that, and then he wanted to like create a space that was like like prized real estate on the first page, on the landing page.
I told him I'd pay for that. I saw
and charge that. Yeah, exactly. And he wanted to charge people for that, and Pixel was against it. He was like, no, I don't want to do that. Pixel is like,
yeah, I talked to him for like about almost an hour after we went off the air when he was on, and I was just like, dude, what is this not making money stuff? I don't get that, man. I'm a Ferengi in this bitch. I don't understand.
I want to make money. Okay. I want as big of an audience as I can get. I want the best marketing I can get. I want to get on everybody's show. I want to spread as much word as I can get. I've got, Facebook ads and stuff like that pull leads. And I've been creating my own list. I've reached out to, maybe this is something you can look into as well. Like people don't know about this, but once your book's printed, like as a graphic novel, you're able to go into like self-publishing marketing opportunities. Book Barbarian, Book Bub, AMS. If you all you have to do to be able to use AMS and their fulfillment services is warehouse with Amazon. If you warehouse with Amazon, people can it's cataloged under Amazon. At that point, you're able to use AMS, which is their marketing system, the Amazon marketing system. Did you know that?
I worked for Amazon for almost 7 years. We have a facility here in Murfreesboro, and we would do that fulfillment thing, like we'd be packing stuff for
they'll even use, like, I called them and they're like, yeah, we'll use Geminis if you send them to us.
Yeah, you have to pay for them.
Yeah,
it's not free.
I got a big old pallet.
But the fulfillment service is like $2.30 as long as you send over so many packages per month. Which is, if you've got at least, and it's like 20, so 5. So if you send over 5 packages a month, it's $2.30 plus whatever your deal is, and they pay everything else.
Right. Well, let me see.
Why doesn't Comicsgate have its own website bypassing Indiegogo?
Well, I think Indiegogo's been an extraordinary partner, at least for me, and I know they've been good to Ethan and a few others. I actually, once I hit a certain dollar amount, they contacted me directly, and a gentleman named Jake. Yeah, and they're like, "Hey, let's know when you're gonna launch again. We're gonna." You want
me to tell you some shit? Some behind the scene. I don't know if Pixel told you this. Like Indiegogo reached out to us, out to Indiecron, and wanted, when we were doing the upcoming section, they were really interested in that and offered to give us special access to Indiegogo and give people perks. Jean-Luc scared the guy off.
Really?
Yes.
Oh wow, that's fucked up. Okay.
He sent this weird email that's like, how much are you going to spend? What's this? Like brass tacks, kind of like the worst negotiating ever.
Hold on, let me get CJ Ray, because no disrespect to Indiegogo, just wondering what benefits, why they don't. Hey, there's nothing wrong with asking a question, brother. I'm cool with it. But I love Indiegogo. They treated me a whole lot better than Kickstarter did. I will say that. And just from my personal experience on running websites, it's a lot of work once you start getting some traffic. It's good I'd rather just pay them. They say it's 5%, but they also, it's like they take 5%, but they also process 30%.
Right.
So I say, realistically, I know I paid I had a Kickstarter and I paid about 13% overall. I think you'll be paying at least 9% with all fees and everything, because you still get charged for the refunds and all that. So I'm just saying, but I think Indiegogo is an exceptional partner. I am very much looking forward to the launch of Way of the Gun, because I think it's going to be explosive. Just nice. the people that have already signed up for the mailing list and all that kind of stuff. So I think Way of the Gun, we've got, Ethan doing the cover. We've got, Billy Tucci let us use she on one of the variants. And we've got some really cool stuff planned for this campaign. We're doing another little separate, 24-page book, that one of my artists, Demetrius Miller, he's going to do. So I was like, we've got so much stuff coming up. And then something I announced the other night when I was streaming, I'm doing another story when we get done with Way of the Gun. It's going to be called Brand Children of Man, and it's going to be written by Mike Barron. We're working on that now. And so, we've got a lot of cool stuff coming up, and I think, Indiegogo.
It's sort of what is it? The Full Metal Jacket mantra, this is my rifle, this is my gun, this is for fighting, this is for fun.
Man. But like I said, I'm excited. This is going to be a big year for Comicsgate. This is going to be a big year for me personally. I think, salute to Ethan Van Sciver for doing that cover. Salute to Rob Willis for doing the cover that he did for us. Well, he just killed it. And salute to Matthew Weldon did a cover for. Both of those are behind Matthew Weldon's cover, the Demi Moore Vanity Fair pregnant cover. that well, I wanted, because there's a part of the story, because I've said this, that Dawn is going to get pregnant. She's going to have a couple of superpowered babies, David's children. And so I one of the covers that the one that Matthew Weldon did, I was like, the Demi Moore. I remember when the Vanity Fair cover from Demi Moore came out, I think around like 86, 87. She was pregnant with Rumor, and she posed nude on the cover of Vanity Fair. So Matthew, I was trying to explain to him, I was like, I wanted to look like a playing card, but I also want the cover to kind of look like the Demi Moore Vanity Fair. And when I saw it, he was like, oh, dude, great. I know exactly. And it just came to him, and he just started skis, and he laid it out and sent me a photo. I was like, that's it. That's exactly what I want. Just do your inky thing. He does this weird cross-hatching inky style that I love. I eat that shit up. And the whole thing is beautiful. And then Rob, who I love. I bought the Shinobi Sasquatch cover from their Indiegogo. I'm looking right at it. Bam, it's hanging on my wall.
Which one do you have? I've got actually, I just had the original one he did with the red background, like the sun behind it.
No, I have the A cover on Shinobi Sasquatch. Whatever that one is with him sitting there with the sword down and all that, I have it.
Okay,
so
the hero.
It's got like the Avengers pose kind of thing, where it's got all the characters.
Yeah, it's got the evil villain guy with the snakes and
it's sort of like I don't know, there's like a hobo girl or something.
Yeah, she's over there and all that. And, whatever. So I know there's another one there, because they did when they were talking about doing a black and white edition, they did another. They did. I know they sold that one too, but I have the first cover that they showed on the Indigo. I snatched that bitch up real quick, and but then I was like, I knew I wanted to do something big for this next launch for Way of the Gun. And so I contacted all these different artists, and I was like, can you do this? Can you do that? And, so I already had, so Rob was one of those artists, and I was like, I want each cover has a theme. Each cover, that's why everybody's like, why did you do all these covers? I was like, each cover has a theme. So, like I said, Dawn's going to be pregnant. So we're foreshadowing with that cover. And then there, the She cover, that's just a tribute to She. Because Billy Tucci and his wife, we had to make some financial arrangements, and we made that happen. So, and then we have Dark Santana in the Bacta tank, and and I fucking loved it. It was so great, and I was like, oh, this is beautiful. And Rob had all these different ideas, and I said, this is really what I wanted. I told him, I said, look, I want, because Dark Santana is, the reason he didn't appear in Brand Book 1, for those of you that are backers, I did send out a PDF of the comic, and we are, I just heard back from the printer a couple hours ago, so I'm excited. I'm fingers crossed that I might actually have the books back by the end of the month. That'll be awesome. So I can actually ship them out, and, Did
you get the proof yet?
Oh, yeah. I got
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, we're going, and that's why the print proof is completed, and we also did the PDF to send out to all the backers. So
sweet.
Yeah. I sent that out like 2 weeks ago, but some people didn't get it because it went to their spam folder. Because some people wrote me back like, Antonio, I told you I didn't get it, but it went, because I used MailChimp because I didn't want to send it on Indiegogo, because when you use Kickstarter and you send out a thing to your backers, you can leave it public, or you can make it backers only. If it had a backers only feature, that's something I wish Indiegogo would do, because then I wouldn't have to use MailChimp, and you can just send it out.
Because legally you have to have an okay.
Yeah, exactly. So
you do.
When I did
like Indiegogo actually doesn't, they like actually don't have that on their pre-launch and everything. It takes the email, but they actually don't have the that button that's like, hey, it's okay if we send you an email, right?
Yeah, it's that kind of thing. So I checked the good thing about MailChimp, when you send out, it'll let you know how many people actually open the email. And
it'll let you know that it'll like who unsubscribes, and that's another legal thing, because mailing lists became such a prevalent thing, like in the late 2000s. Everybody was like, I hate this, blah blah blah. Legally, you have to have a way for them to unsubscribe.
Absolutely.
Yep, you do.
but when I looked at my reports for when I sent out the PDF, I got over half. I sent out to almost 2,300 people, and
nice.
over half of them downloaded it just based on the. So I know I got a pretty good download rate on the mailing list, and then
very nice.
Then when I went double down and went to my Indiegogo and just sent out, like, hey, if you didn't get it, I sent it out through a different service. Email me. Yeah, I got like about 90 people email me. It's like, yo, Antonio, I didn't get it. And I'm still those first couple of days, I was getting flooded with those and DMs and people on Twitter and all that kind of stuff. So once I was like, hey, if you didn't get it, just send me your backer number and I will I'll send it right out to you. And people were like, yo, I'm backer 247 or whatever the fuck, and they send it to me, and I go, here you go, bud. Shoot it right off. So now everybody's like contacting me and telling me, it's like so far the feedback has been really good on issue 1.
Nice.
A lot of people but I tried to tell them, I said, Dark Santana's not in the first one, but Dark Santana is definitely in the way of the gun. So he's definitely in the way of the gun, and that's where the Bacta tank comes, because that's where he is. He's like locked up in the North Pole in suspended animation, and because he's a doppelganger. You can't because people are like, well, you got to kill Dark Santana. I was like, you can't kill Dark Santana because he's connected to Saint Nicholas, Santa Claus. So they're like the Crimson Guard in GI, the Tomax and Zaymon. Like, if I punch Santa Claus, Santana will feel it. That kind of deal. Like, so if I stab Santana, Santa Claus will feel it. That kind of stuff. So they can't just kill him. That's why they have to keep him in suspended animation. So that was the whole point of Rob Willis's cover, which he just, man, he did the only thing that we changed, because I wanted it was Luke Skywalker from Empire Strikes Back. He's floating around in a Bacta tank, and I wanted him to have a face mask and everything. And I told him that, and he said, well, I'm being honest. He said, if I put the face mask on it, he said, one of the best things I like about the Santana character is the way Kanan draws that real evil grin looking face and all that. He's like, so having the face mask on there kind of takes away from that. So he said, I'll do it if you want, but I think it'll look better without the little face mask or whatever. He can just breathe in this. He had tubes. He's got tubes in his chest and all this other stuff. But other than that, and I said, Rob, I trust you. Do what you got to do. And he started sketching stuff up. And when I started seeing it, he started showing me in the inking stage. And I said, dude, that looks insane. And I was like, when I got really excited, and then obviously he sent it to me, and I was so glad. I was so glad.
It's the same way. I don't know. Like the way that this whole process has worked for us so far is that I'll script something and I send it to Joe, and then Joe's he's got a much better like camera eye, like eye for the camera and for the visual portion of the comic book than I do. So even though like I'll script 5 pages, he'll send me 8. And I'm like, and I look at it and I'm like, you know what? It looks really good though. So then I change the words. I change like the dialogue and the captions and everything to fit like the feeling that I get from the page he gives me.
That's actually something. I can't wait till me and Kanan actually record because I got to fly him out here so he can sign these books. But when I get Kanan out here, that's one of the things I'm looking forward to is we had a director's commentary that we just that was actually a Doug TeNapel idea, because I was kicking around. I was like, man, I just kind of want something cheap that people that want to support me can. And he said, what about doing a director's commentary and just charging like $5 for it or something? And I was like, that's actually not a bad idea. Talk to Kanan. He's like, yeah, that'll be fun. And I mean, because me and him kind of had some disagreements here and there on certain things, and it was interesting, but we obviously got through it. Got the book completed, and like I said, the print file and hearing back from the printer, because we got a nice little chunk of change to deposit to him and all that kind of stuff. But all the proofs have been, because I had to send the interiors in one file, which it's a big file. It's like almost 500. Yeah, it's a big file. Then all the separate covers. So we got 4 different covers. All the separate covers: front cover, interior cover, interior back cover, all that. So so he was like, I need the interiors as a separate file, and I need the covers as 4 separate files. And I was like, okay, I got you. And so we set up everything like that, and I was like, okay, this is pretty good. And like I said, I just checked everything. It looks great. So like I said, I'm really, really excited, and I already had Kanan working on Way of the Gun, so he's like 10 pages in. I should be getting some more pages within the next few days. And
so what's your launch date?
Most likely it's definitely the last week of February, but I don't know if I want to go. The Friday's the 28th. I don't know. I kind of want to talk because Mr. Van Skyver had mentioned that we could launch. So nice. I don't know. I just kind of want to see if everything works out that way. Since he was like, hey, let me know when you're gonna launch. I was like, okay, cool. So either way, because I might do a launch party on this channel and then head over, kind of like what Cecil did with Cash Grab. But I think that first day is I'm looking forward to it. I think whatever way of the gun is, it's going to explode. I'm really happy with how the script was turning out and some of the things. It's a little bigger than what I anticipated, but I can just chop that up because I don't want to lose any of the material. So and let me see. CG Raven. Let me see. He said Shinobi Sasquatch shipped. If I'm not mistaken, because I'm pretty sure they sent out a backer update. They got a little behind, and they did announce a delay. But I am positive, just based on, Rob's been showing on his Twitter new pages that he's inking and stuff like that. I know he's working on it, so I just don't know their ETA. So, but they definitely had sent out. I remember Cal had sent out an update saying that they had gotten a little behind or whatever. So. It happens, but you've got so Mr. Lord, Doctor, you have at least 2 books? How big are these books? Because you're launching them on the same day.
Yeah, that's it. Right now we're still discussing that, but they're going to be 48 pages a piece is what we're starting at. I would love for them to be a little bit bigger.
Same artist on both books?
Same what? No.
The
on the first the Sins of the Fae has Joe Diaz and Joe Sanchez Diaz, and Hosan Art is what it is, JOSAN Art on Twitter, and the second one is Jason Johnson. Sway has Jason Johnson on it.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, and they're both they're similar. But those guys, they draw faces, for example, very, very differently. So it's going to be a nice, stylistically, they're very, there's a lot of difference between the two of them.
But Xevious, you're coloring both books, right, or no?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. Okay. I'm trying to see because I've got the Blade Knight page. I've got that pulled up because you've got a mailing list that you can sign up for.
I just put a few more pictures up there if you want to take a look at them.
Okay. Let me pull that up. So people can see.
I want to just refresh it real quick. I put because there's a couple of pictures recently that were just really, really good that Xevious had put up, which was he put in the just the logo, which we're going to put on shirts and mugs and everything else, and hopefully a billboard one day, and and then we have the pictures of actually Nikki Caramore, which is the main character. This is the mother of of the 2 girls in the story. She's Nikki Caramore has a secret, and it could tear her family apart. What's a girl to do? Anything she has to. And so that is Nikki's go here, and she throws up a rifle into the air, and it turns into Khalid Bolg, one of the Pendragons.
Okay, hold on. Okay. Hold on. Don't mess up on me now. All right, here we go. We're on the Blade Knight site, and the link to that Blade Knight. Oh, did I lose you?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Okay, I was like, okay, you went quiet there for a second. I was like, oh, you said there was something in there. I didn't hear anything.
Oh no, there's a thumbnail beneath that you can click on, and it'll stop the image and pull it out, so you can take a good look at it.
Okay, because I see you got the Faye and okay. So
see, there's Khalid Bolg.
Okay.
And there's the image everybody loves.
Oh yeah, nice colors.
Yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, we just finished.
Very nice color.
This one goes back about a week or so. So, and I'm in the middle of doing the promo, like the trailer for it. I'll be done in a day or two. So I've been looking.
You're doing a trailer for this because I know you've got Indiegogo pages set up pre-launch for these as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I have Indiegogo pre-launch set up for both of them, for Sway and for Sins of the Fae. So you can look it up on the pre-launch pages. It's easier just to go to BladeNite.com and you can sign up there, and that gives me a mailing list, and I go straight to my MailChimp. So I can, I can look at that like pretty easily, and send updates and exclusives. I'm working with Matt Weldon to get some like either, like an exclusive variant pinup or a card or something that I can offer people that join the mailing list. You know what I mean? Because you want something, you know what I mean? You want to give some sort of like variants to the people that join up for taking all that information from you.
Absolutely. So let me see here. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice choice of colors here.
Yeah, and then it shifts tone here. There's a lot of interesting, now we sort of got fire in the background, so there's a lot of called chromatic aberration, sort of on. This is Granny. You can sort of see the heat coming, hitting her in the back from behind.
Yeah, this is the character he accused me of drawing his wife on.
Yeah.
There is. But yeah.
He's like, "Where'd you get a picture of my wife?" I'm like, what?
That's how life goes.
Oh, and this is Sway.
Yeah, this is the other book. This is for Sway. And the tagline for this is, when heaven and hell wage a war of influence on humanity, then somewhere in the middle, in between the light and the dark, is our only hope, and her name is Sway.
Yeah. How do you like this art, Antonio? What do you think?
I am digging it. That was actually, I know when the good doctor and myself were chatting last year, I remember he had mentioned Sway, and that was definitely something I was interested in. I thought the premise sounded very interesting.
Yeah, you can see here, this is like where Azrael is coming out of this portal that's in Central Park for a long time. And we have this actually lettered now, but I didn't have it at this time. And it's just like on the third day, Azrael walked through the portal and hell came with him.
Yeah.
Again, nice colors. Nice.
It's what I do.
Yeah. Well, there you go. How many books have you been coloring for a long time?
Well, so it's weird. So I moved to San Diego about 5 or 6 years ago, and it's basically got fully into the comic book scene. So I mean, my background is publishing. So I've done hundreds and hundreds of books.
Oh, cool.
I've worked with illustration. I've been an illustrator for 23 years now, maybe. So I guess I've been coloring for 23 years.
Yeah, because I know my colorist Icarus. He's been coloring for like 14 years. So and that was I noticed when I was getting feedback on the comic and everything, when people were reading Brand, that was one of the things that they raved about. It was like, man, the colorist is amazing.
Sure.
That was just, I knew I had a good colorist because Kyle Ritter saw Icarus colored the Iron Skies cover.
Okay.
And
that was a good cover.
Dude.
Yeah.
And when Kyle Ritter is going, who colored that?
Yeah.
It was like, because what was so funny is he tried to hire Kyle. That was he tried to hire Kyle, and I think Kyle was real busy at that time. He's like, he said he stopped answering my DMs. I was like, well, Kanan's personal colorist, Icarus, he can do that for you. He was like, really? And I showed him some art samples. He was like, oh man, your colorist does a great job. I was like, yeah, Kanan handpicked him, and he did the Iron Skies cover, and people thought that was he just killed that.
Oh yeah,
he just really Iron Skies.
That was awesome.
Yeah, I need to. Was it Christopher Rue, if I'm not mistaken? Yeah, he's a good guy. Oh yeah, love that. That's nice. Good logo too.
Yeah, that's again. I mean, my background is just I've been making books all this time. So for me, I think it's the first thing I did here for Buddy, Dr. Buddy, and it really takes there's all of the ideas sort of they're in the story, and there's the central tree, and it's all of the letter forms are it's hard to articulate, but it's just I don't just choose fonts. I hand draw all my logos.
So you did this logo. You did it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And logos, I mean, that's how I've been paying the bills, buying a house and raising kids and stuff like that. Basically doing corporate.
That's actually really good work. That's one thing as I've been kind of building a little private art studio of talent. And, started with working with Kanan, and now I represent Demetrius Miller, and, he's amazing. He's got over 45,000 people following him on Instagram, and he's going to draw some projects for us. And matter of fact, we're setting up. Because people have been asking me when I'm going to have him on the stream. So he's got all the equipment now. So he didn't have it before. I was like, dude, get the equipment, because he's launching some kind of intergalactic bounty hunter book called Mia and Gronk. And he's been showing me pay. He's been tweeting them out and everything. They look really cool. I'm gonna be like an executive producer on that project and kind of help ferry the way. It'll be under the Ikari Press banner. And then he's doing another Comicscape project called Eclipse. And that guy's having an art contest. That guy, his name's Mike. If somebody can draw his characters, he's willing to pay up to like $600. And said, so I had tweeted that out a couple weeks ago. He's not as that's one thing I tell people: you're gonna launch, man. You gotta be active. I told him, I said, "Where's your pre-launch page?" He was like, I don't have one. I was like, you need to get one. Get a pre, because I was like, the art is starting to come in and it's looking really good. You don't have pre-launch page. I'm more than willing. I mean, he hired one of my guys. So I'm more than willing to do some promotion and shilling for you, but I don't have anything to tell people to go sign up or any of that. So yeah, that's a big mistake, because he's got a YouTube channel, but he's kind of shy. It's like shy people on YouTube. I had to. That's something I heard.
You got to get over that. What was it like? Nasser or whatever?
Oh yeah. That was I was like, although it's kind of funny. I kind of miss Nasser's horrible lunch streams.
Yeah, it was funny. I gotta admit, I like that stuff.
Yeah, you just sit there and all right, guys. Hey guys, eating a bowl of chili. So he would go live, and I would just sit over there. And I mean, he didn't have a big crowd in there, but I was, they were pretty loyal. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, eat your lunch now. So, all right, man.
I think it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I know, but it seemed to work for Nasser though. And and that's the thing. I was trying, and I told Richard this, by the way, which I forgot. On Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on this channel, Chuck Dixon, Richard C. Meyer, they're both coming on. We're going to talk about the new.
That's a coup right there. Both of them.
Actually, I saw your tweet. That's right.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to Well, I'm actually friends with Chuck and Richard. I had asked Chuck to write Brand, and then he just started seeing my notes, and he was like, "Yeah, this is insane." He's like, "I don't know if I could handle this." He said, "I don't think I could do this book justice." He said, "But you got your idea pretty well fleshed out. You just need to tweak a couple of things." And he said he told me, "I think you can write it." I'm because at first I was devastated that Chuck. Because we had made this deal, and he was like, "Yeah, I don't think I can write this. I don't think I would write it the way you would write it." And even my girlfriend at the time, she got real upset with me when I told her I'd hired Chuck Dixon, because she was like, "Look, you told me you were going to write it." Yeah, I did.
I was telling everybody I was having sex with a great writer.
Yeah. And I was like, well, it's still my story. He's going to take my story and dialogue it. He's going to script it. And she was like, yeah, but I wanted to read your words and all this. And I said, and then so Chuck told me, he said, hey, man, I think you should write this. I said, okay, cool. And I'm so glad I listened to Chuck, because the story wouldn't be the same if I hadn't. You know what I'm saying? It just wouldn't be.
I mean, well, that's what I tell, like, people are like, what is like the world of Sins of the Fae sometimes? And I'm like, well, it's any mythology you can think of put through my own personal lens.
I was just like, oh man, that's nice colors right there, bro.
Hey man, again, I appreciate you saying it. This is a week old, maybe.
I'm digging that though.
I think he's actually cleaned this up. This is the old one.
Yeah, I've tweaked it a little bit. I've got a few secret weapon friends sort of in the business that I run stuff by, and a guy named Mike Sass, actually he comes from BioWare, Lucasfilm. Now he does a lot of the Wizards of the Coast. And he said that the red of the gun would come out a little better if I took the red down a little bit, a little more blue in the background. So this now has a bit more of a purple sky. It's subtle.
But like I said, I think this is I really like this. Nice. The colors really pop and they're very expressive.
Well, I'm not afraid of color. I mean, I know how to use it pretty well, so I push it. When I can push it, I'll push it as far as I can.
Oh yeah, I'm digging this.
Yeah, this is the when Remington becomes Khaled Bold.
In fact, we were reviewing this one last night on the video about midnight, and I was saying that if you're gonna, what was your quote, Doc? I stole the coloring for the eye. Like 100%.
Oh yeah, he stole it from Terminator, and I said, well, it's actually not Steve Jobs, it's Picasso. He says, "Good artists borrow, the best artists steal." Yeah.
So I was trying to get this dragon's eye right. So I went straight to Terminator 2, that poster, with the red glow, and I did an orange-yellow version of it. So there you go. I
like it. It looks good. Cool. This is like I said.
Thanks.
Yeah. So.
Ooh, there he is.
Yeah, nice. Digging it. So he's like a mechanical dragon.
Yeah, he's like you can see like he painted or colored, whatever you would say. The dragon is the color of the rifle.
Mm.
Oh, so the rifle turns into the dragon. Because I saw the thing. So the rifle is that's interesting.
Yeah,
I might have to borrow that idea. Oh, that's interesting. It kind of reminds me of that like that last season of Transformers when they started doing like the headmasters and weapon masters and stuff. And I always thought that was cool. So like your gun will transform into this or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay, weapon masters, headmasters.
Yeah. And I was trying to sort of do that almost like preservation of mass thing. So the actual gun is maybe 75% rosewood and 25% metal. So the dragon has the metal parts, and then it's all intertwined with the wood, and then the wings are fully made out of wood. So I hope we get to see more of them.
No, yeah, I'm digging. Well, see, I have a dragon in Brand. Makes his appearance. A little baby dragon named Komori. So that is.
This is he's supposed to be the size of like I told Joe to make him the size of like a really big mancoon. So it's not that big. It's just it looks really awesome, and like I didn't put the rest of it, but like the rest of the page is these huge creatures have like busted down this barrier, and then Nikki protects herself and Granny with a barrier or with like a force field, like a shield, and then Granny is like, okay, it's time. She's like, say the words and send me home, and basically what it is there's like a hex. She literally is hexing because her grandmother's already dead. They're in the spirit world. That's why the sky looks all weird and everything. And when Granny's dying, she basically gives up her memory to give Nikki the memories of a seasoned witch, because Nikki never learned. She's got the power, but she never learned how to be a witch. So Granny's going to give her the knowledge to be one in exchange for one memory of her grandmother at a time that she loses. And when she loses all of them, her grandmother literally ceases to exist to her.
Well, like I said, I think that looks dope. That looks really dope. Interesting choice. Well, obviously, I guess they're in space. Are they in space, or are they instead just?
They're in the world of the dead.
Okay. Because I was like, I like that the dragon is breathing this this rune or whatever. I don't like this kind of this whatever the symbol is.
Yeah, he's speaking magic, right? And this is the way. Yeah. This is
how Kanan drew some of that in with our character Wither. She has plant-based magic. It was like, because I told him, I said she's like a voodoo priestess. She's Haitian. She's like poison ivy mixed with like a voodoo queen. Like that.
Okay.
So you see her she kind of casts this kind of spell aura, and that was, man, I can't wait to do the director's commentary and talk about that, because when we get to that page when she's like casting the magical symbol, it was colored a different. I was like, the colors in Brand are very important, particularly with the masks, because the white mask, a mask like Penance or Horus, they're part of the White Mask clan. and so they represent soul magic. So that's why their colors are like flaming blue, white, or whatever. You know, that's why that's why I was trying to explain to my letterer and my colorist. I was like, so whenever you color a white mask, these are the color schemes that we need. And then a red mask would have like a red trail behind it, because that's physical magic. That would be, you know, it's supposed to be the Holy Trinity, mind, body, and spirit, with the black masks being shadow magic. So you'll see that the different aspects in that. And so I wanted to make sure that if a character with a white mask is talking, that's the kind of energy that we're seeing and stuff. So Wither using plant-based magic, I felt like he had colored it like red. It looked great, but I was like, it's not the right color. And he was arguing with me. He was like, no, it'll pop. And I was like, no, I need it to be. And Kanan was like, no, it needs to be green, bro. She's not using one of the three basic, like I said, mind, body, and spirit. I was like, she's using plant-based magic, so her stuff should be green. And then he stopped fighting, and then because he was explaining to me, he's like, I have to change the light source, and I have to do this, and he went ahead, after complaining for a second, he went ahead and fixed it. And when he fixed it, I was like, he said, "You happy now?" I was like, I'm ecstatic. I'm happy that it looked great. And like I said, all the pages in book 1 look great. The colored pages that we have for Way of the Gun, I'm really, really happy with those. Mr. White just sent me a message a few seconds ago letting me know, hey, I'm almost done with the next page. So I'm very happy with that. Oh, okay, so we're back to where we were. Okay, so that was the first image that I clicked on, and it looks great. Like I said, this I think this looks really good. I would
Yeah.
Are you doing 2 separate campaigns, or are you going to launch and then say, hey, you can get this book, or you can get this book, or I don't know how you're working that?
Well, right now the plan is actually to open one on Kickstarter and one on Indiegogo, and then after 2 months switch them. And that's what I was thinking about. But like, after talking to a few people and everything, I don't know, because since I am a new creator, the whole idea of building trust may make it so that I have to make one at a time.
I can see that. I had a guy on a couple months ago, and apparently he got like 4 or 5 different Kickstarters and stuff going. And somebody DM'd me, he's like, hey, that guy is a scammer, man. I was like, really? Because he had sent me like PDFs of his books and stuff. They look really cool. And I was like, he's like, no, that dude's a scammer, man. Look on his Kickstarters and stuff.
It's perception and optics, though. You know what I mean? I mean, that's one of the things we have to look out for.
But that's the thing, though. He opened one Kickstarter account up as under his name. Then he opened a separate one up under his studio name, and then he opened another one up under another.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he did that, and I was like, so
that's a little shady.
I had to be honest. So I can't have him back on. I actually liked his projects and stuff, but I can't do that.
I think we've got a lot of things to talk about, behind closed doors, and figure out logistics and things like that. But in terms of like just trust inside the community, for sure. I mean, everybody knows, we all talk to each other. So I mean, we know it's up and up, right? Yeah, and I think, if we did try to do 2, as long as we're ready to go, I mean, everybody knows that you're legit, right?
Well, it's more about I think that's I'd say the majority of my backers, even though we're late, they've been super, super cool. And some of them have contacted me or whatever, and they want to know, like, hey, where are you at? Boom, boom, boom. And and I'm like letting them know this is where we're at. We're doing this. Bam, and they've been, like I said, most of them have been very understanding, which I appreciate, because I get it. We're late, Lady McLateness. But I know when I sent out the PDF, I got a lot of love all of a sudden, and I know that my follows went up. That was one thing. I was like, I went over, I hadn't been able to crack like 3,300 or whatever I think it is on Twitter, and all of a sudden I had like 70 something people follow me. I was like, wait a minute, where's this coming from? It was interesting. I couldn't believe it. And some of the war campaign guys, they were really like, oh man, this is great, man. I was like, which they really helped me when we released the preview. They did, because Ethan called me and he said, have you watched? He said, War Campaign like acted out your preview. And I was like, really? They
That's
did.
awesome.
Yeah, they went through the whole preview and they acted out. They like gave people different roles and everything. And I'm telling you, just from them doing that, and they would like people were dropping the links in the chat and everything. Man, I must have made about another $3,000. I'm not even joking. Serious.
Wow.
So
Well,
yeah,
I mean, they're like a promoting machine.
dude. Yeah, tinfoil Nick, man, that dude. He promote my shit more than I do. I be waking up and all of a sudden I was like, yeah, Brand, way to go. I retweeted.
Right?
I was like, oh, I've tried to explain because there are people who have contacted me. It's like, I want to sell to the Comicsgate people, but I don't necessarily want to be in the community. And I was like, well, that's a mistake then, because without building that trust with the community.
No, you got to be. I mean, like right now, like you were talking about Tinfoil Nick. I tried to get on his show, but he didn't like that I changed my name, and he thought that it was I was being dishonest, and I can understand that. I'm not going to hold that against him or anybody else.
Well, what I would say is don't give up on him. Just keep trying. After just like keep the dialogue open, because once people go, hey, he's good people. He's just whatever, and a lot of times you can change a lot of that, man. It's just you just have to keep. You have to keep open dialogue with people and just keep.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's just a lot of like. I mean, I can understand it because, like I said, there's a lot of. Grifters. I don't want to say bad blood, but
there's some people that when we get into the schemes and scams. There are some schemes and scams going on, and people that they just want to be. They want to be Comicsgate, just for the dollars. I'm CG for pay, that kind of thing. So
yeah.
See.
I'm CG because I think it's a cool thing to be, because I mean I think it's right to be for the customers, and I think it's right to be like I don't necessarily think it's like a particular brand of politics or whatever. I just think it's the right to make whatever comic book or art you want.
I agree with that 1,000. But there's no way in hell a book like Brand would have gotten made without Comicsgate. Period.
For sure.
I was, because everybody's like, I can't believe it.
Oh yeah, you get to, you got like the very well endowed, beautiful redheaded woman, in scantily clad outfit. Nah, have you seen freaking Birds of Prey?
I got to be honest. I was excited when they announced it, and then stuff started coming out, and I was like, this is not going to be good. Then I saw the trailer.
Yep.
Yeah, I had to get. I'm Randy Jackson on that ass. Yeah, it's a no, dog.
I mean, they put him in like some, like I don't know, pretty well purposed potato sacks, masquerading as outfits.
Yeah.
What a shame.
I mean, that's the thing. I've talked about my ex a few times on different streams where she was like, "You're a 40-year-old man and you're wearing a superhero shirt. What are you doing?" She did not respect. She thought she tolerated me liking comics. She thought it was stupid. Mm-hmm. So she doesn't. She reads novels. She's like,
I mean, I read novels. I read like I don't know. I've read like 23 books in 2.5 weeks or so. I read 2 to 3 books a day sometimes, and I mean. I don't know, like I just don't see I can do both. And I mean, I got to be honest with you, like it's kind of interesting trying to turn a prose manuscript into a comic book. I mean, I was talking to X today, and we were going over some of the other characters that are going to be involved later, and everything. Because I mean, one of the things that guys, if you want to plan on doing this is a few things. One, this is a habit. This is a lasting behavioral change. Okay. So there's a lot of small habits that you're going to have to put into your daily regiment in order to survive, doing this kind of thing. You know what I mean? And 2, this is a business. And as a business, you are your marketer, you are your program manager, your producer, your writer, all those things. You have to wear all those hats, and you have to wear them every day. And that's not as easy as you think. I mean, like converting, especially like, I mean, I've been writing prose I've edited for 12 years. I've been writing for at least 15. I've written prose of all kinds. I've written poetry, articles, everything. But you take, all this different kind of stuff to convert that to a visual format is, even if you've, watched a bunch of movies and you think you know how to do it, you don't.
Well, you know what? That's one of the things that I've liked about collaborating with Kanan. Kanan he excels in visual storytelling. And so I had, I was listening to Richard, and he was talking about he had a good artist that was able to do visual storytelling, and he was able to cut dialogue out because you don't have to explain everything because people can follow it easily.
Yeah, I remember Malin did that for him.
That's right.
and he was like, yo, less is more sometimes. So I was going back. I had paid. I was like, where there was like way too much dialogue, and I was like, okay, let me hack that up and keep it short and simple because Kanan did such a great job. Visually you can follow it.
I mean, my thing is I've always believed that that brevity is the soul of wit anyway, and so as brief as I can get is better. I mean, I don't like X sometimes tells me, he's like, dude, you need more words. He's like, I need to ground the page. You need more words. I'm like, oh, okay.
In some places, yeah.
Well, here, one thing I would say, there, I don't know. I got a book, that I bought off Indiegogo a few months ago, and it looked beautiful and everything, but I was trying to go through it, and my God, I thought he was a little long-winded.
Sure.
I was like falling asleep. I was like, man, you got great art. I'm looking, and he's got whole pages, and there's these huge word below. I was like, I gotta read all that shit. Oh damn!
See, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted it to be extremely brief for people to just like get into the action, the feeling.
Yeah, make your point.
Exactly. Like the way that I want it to read is, for one, I want, even if there were no words, for you to be able to tell what's going on. You know what I mean? So the visual storytelling is on point, but then I want the words to be just enough to like give you that extra fire. You know what I mean? Yeah, to like just to leave it to burn. And I think that, that's the best way to be, because I've read a lot of books where it's like the words were vanity. The picture told the story, and I didn't need the 9 million balloons around it,
Yeah, I was like, I felt like I'm looking, I was like, man, you got all this beautiful art and you just covered it with all these word balloons. And that's one good thing I would say about my editor, Amanda Lamella. She told me, she's like, well, I cut some dialogue here. I felt like you were going on a little too much and all that. I was like, you cut my dialogue? What? And, and that's, I think she did the right thing. There were a couple places where I was like, no, I want that there. And other than, I was like, okay, well, she's right here. And so, yeah, I mean, yeah, I got a little too long-winded, and I actually had somebody who's like, man, I like that you kind of just throw us in and you don't over-explain, because that's one thing I hate. I'll read a book and it'll be like, this is Maurice. She has the power of 1,000 suns, and she can do this and I was like, okay, just over-explaining every damn thing. Just kind of,
yeah, you don't need it. I mean, honestly, what I go to is like, I go to manga, and I was talking to this dude Perch. You've talked to Perch before, I'm sure, right?
I thought I was on a stream with him like about a year ago.
Okay, well, I like Perch, and Perch is, he's really, really big in like the manga scene and everything over in Japan. He goes to Japan all the time, and he was telling me that like the manga books are created to be put on the phone. That's one of the reasons why they sell like a heck of a lot better. You know what I mean? And I was like, okay, like let me take a look at that. And then I started to look at it, and I realized, okay, well, for one, like the way that they kind of create manga is a little bit different. Like Western storytelling has ups and downs. It has, peaks and valleys, right? And you sort of have this kind of like exposition laden kind of filler, really, between like some scenes, where the Japanese really try not to do that at all. They try to have like short vignettes that have their own feeling and conclusion immediately on the page for people to see every time they look at it. So that every page has like a little dopamine hit. You feel like the expectation you got for turning that page meets at least moderate level expectations. I don't want to get too scientific here, but there actually is something to an old saying that people have, which is expectations are the thief of joy. If we have moderate, or if we reach moderate to high expectation on anything we have enthusiasm for, we get a dopamine hit from it. It makes you feel good. Okay. And the Japanese have codified that. They have turned that into every page you look at it. It's got a question that kind of it doesn't have to be like words, but there's sort of a question like what's going on, and that's resolved in that page. So you get a full feeling, and you're like, what's the next page? Whereas we're taught you have a turn page, right? So you just want that one panel at the bottom of the turn page, or that page itself, to be, to be like your dopamine, to be your expectation. Instead, it's like, nah, like, and that's one of the things that I think is great about the process that we've created between myself, Joe, and Xevious, is that by the time like Xevious colors the page, I can tell what feeling's supposed to be on that page. And I'm a good enough poet and writer, and I have a good enough sense of rhythm that I can put words to fit the feeling on the page, not make them fit their art to my writing.
Yeah.
That was
Plus,
very well said.
I mean, I'm careful, like, not to, I mean, in this process, to not step on other people's toes, like, just basically to trust Joe-san to do his thing. But, you know, like the one where the gun turns into the dragon, and the pencils. So Buddy ran them by me before he did it, and I was like, this is rad, but make that one just have a little bit of a twist so you can see where it actually turns into the dragon. And Joe came back, and he's like, cool, and he just did it. It's one of the best panels we have in the whole book, you know, in my opinion. So it is sort of the whole teamwork thing, where
it makes the dream work.
It's true. I know.
It really is. But yeah, like I said, I really respect people that can, you know, that excel at visual storytelling. I think I think it's a lost art form, especially with some of these stiff books that you see now.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm still here. Did we lose somebody?
Colored cover for Way of the Gun.
Oh, there we go.
And
there we go.
Yeah, I thought, Icarus. We talked about everything. I want how the light source comes in on everything, and I thought, like I said, Rob did. It looks pristine in black and white, actually, and I just, but the lights coming down from the top. You've got Horace coming in trying to like help break him out and all this kind of stuff. So I just thought this was fantastic. I just thought, and Rob was right too, because we would have had a face mask there. You know, he would have been breathing through the little face mask thing. And I think the way Rob did it, he was right to remove the face mask and just show that the visual there. I think he did outstanding.
At least you didn't pull the I don't know. You've seen one of Miller's latest illustrations where he's got some like Democrat or something sitting in a throne, and there's like, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And the guy's get like he's got the cock thing or whatever. I don't know what that. And he's sitting on a throne of children, if I'm not mistaken.
It's like, whoa, dude.
It was
That's an inspired choice.
I wish Mike the best on all his future endeavors.
I just think I don't know, like politics is cool and everything. Do you? You know what I mean? Do you?
Doesn't matter. You should make anything you want to make, but that's I'm not checking for that. I gotta be honest. But I wish him, looks like he got Dean Cain co-signing it. So I was like, all right, do what you do, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Sure.
Yeah, I was like, you got Superman co-signing. You drew Superman in the book. I'm like, all right, cool, got you.
Well, I mean, I remember when was it Doug Ernst came out with Soul Finder. I was actually I was helping him promote at the beginning of it because I was still in IndieCron and everything at the time. I was on my way back from a job and got Dean Cain to like make a post about it and retweet it.
Cool.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. I was like, hey Dean, this is an ex-soldier, yada yada yada, doing this. This is a hero that even you would love to play. And he's like, heck yeah, I would. And retweeted. I was like, yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Let's see, that's cool. And like this, salute to Mr. Ernst as well. He was always very kind. Like I streamed with him on Ethan's channel. I streamed with him on Doug's channel a few times. We were talked privately a few times. He was always very kind to me. So
same here.
Yeah. So he's cool people. So I don't. So and I mean,
took a trip to the Philippines or something.
You say that again? You were breaking up.
He took a trip to the Philippines.
Oh yeah. I've been seeing that on the Twitter there
for like his book. He's like, this is for my next book. I'm like, what? Okay.
But I know he had all kind of different ideas that he was wanting to do because I know he had originally talked to Ethan. There was a zombie book that he wanted to do, and then there was some kind of, so he had like a ton of different ideas and stuff. So that's the thing. Like I got all these ideas in my head of books and stuff that I want to promote, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what we can do. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I don't know, man. The next couple of months are going to ramp up really fast.
Oh, it's going to be busy. There's going to be a lot of shows happening for sure. A lot of hustling.
What are your thoughts on the announced CG convention that's going down in Orlando next year?
I mean, I'd go.
Yeah, I definitely want to go.
I'll go as a creator and fan. You know what I mean? I'll buy a booth and put my books out. My books will be out by that time. I'll hire some booth babes.
You gonna go all the way out? Okay.
Oh baby, yeah. What are you talking about? That's like vacation.
I love it, man.
That's like vacation. You know what I mean? I mean, think about it, because like this, I was telling X and Joe, I'm like, what I would love to do is make enough money we could go to some conventions. And honestly, like if we sell enough books to make our money back, right? I'm happy with it, because that's like
and the thing is, you're going for business reasons, so you can write the plane ticket off. You can write. Everybody forgets that stuff. That's why I was like, that stuff I've started looking into. You could, like, your hotel, your meals, all that stuff can be written off as business expenses. Because
I've already like the company BladeNite.com is already incorporated.
Yeah. Ikari Press LLC, man. We registered in
same. Yep.
Yeah.
So see, I ran a clothing T-shirt company basically for about 4 years, sort of alongside my advertising agency. So I've done Atlantic City and Vegas a bunch of times, and yeah, we had booth babes, and going away for like 4 or 5 days. Man, you got to do that. You got to we're gonna go 3 to 5 days, right? You got to call ahead to some escort services or whatever. Hire some nice looking girls that fit the bill. You know what I mean? And have them walk around and sell some books. Yeah, it'll just be just another day in the office. I've been there, and of course I go to San Diego Comic-Con almost every year.
I mean, a lot of people don't know this about me, but I was actually a regional ambassador for Skull Candy.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, when they were first starting the company. When the guy first started the company out of Utah, I was one of the guys. My area was basically the Southwest United States, and I like a lot of the major X Game like concerts that they had, where they were pulling a whole bunch of people in. Like I was the one responsible, like when Blink 182 when they came out with the headphones that represented them and everything. I was the one who brokered that deal. That was in Houston, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know the scene.
Well, it sounds like I don't know how I'm assuming you've been tracking how your mailing list, because the mailing list we've been.
My mailing list is like very small right now. That's why I've been doing everything that I can and reaching out. But I mean, I knew it was going to be that way. I'm just out or just beginning. You know what I mean? I don't have a YouTube channel, so
are you gonna make one?
Am I gonna? Well, we have one. I just don't have time for it, honestly. I mean, I work, like I said, anywhere between 55 to 60 hours a week. I do all of this as well with both books, and then trying to control everything and sort of push forward. It's and then try to have enough of a social life not to go crazy.
Well, I mean,
I had to actually do a timeout on the social life thing outside of going. I went to dinner with one of my best friends and her son the other night.
Mm-hmm.
She had a birthday and we wanted to go.
Mm-hmm.
So I would, but I hadn't. She was like, "Yeah, you've been kind of cut off." And I was like, "Yeah, but I've been busy." She was like, "I don't want to bother you." I was like, "Look," I'll make time for you. It's like you're.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Friends for like 20 years. Yeah, I mean, she's been in my life 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
So it's. I look back on that. I was like, man, I watched her kids grow up and stuff. It's like it's. So I love her to death, and salute to Angela. She listens to these streams sometimes.
Nice.
And
I mean, right now, I think the list is growing by about like anywhere between 20 to 30 a day, which isn't bad.
Yeah, that's the thing, man, because I can't wait. I know, like I said, I know the mailing list. Like I said, the mailing list, I was surprised. I was like, man, it's like it had only been up for a couple of hours, and I already had over 100 something people.
Nice.
Like, oh, wow. I was like, and like when we put the PDF out, and I started saying, hey, mailing list and all this, and start promoting, because I'll do another backer update once I get the.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing we're going to do too, is we're going to take. Because I'll have about 12 to 13 pages. I think it's 12. And we're going to take 12 pages and make an ash can. And we're we're gonna make 2 different forms of it. I'm gonna have a newsprint that's available for like probably the people that are in the mailing list and that kind of thing, so I can send it out and it looks beautiful. But then we're gonna send some out to some PO boxes with like a gift basket, like a nice digitally printed, glossy, beautiful looking book with maybe like a bookmark, a card, and a shirt or something like that.
Okay, I see you, player. Y'all been well, it sounds like, hey,
we've been scheming, right?
as long as it's not, I'm scheming, but I'm not scamming. So it's
that's right. No scam, just scheming.
No scams. But the scheme is nothing. There's nothing wrong for making your next move, man. It's like like I said, I've got so much cool stuff. I made the acquaintance of a very, very popular YouTuber, and sent him brand. And I sent so many famous people links, the ones, especially like people with the DMs open and stuff like that. I sent them, I saw a couple of them read it and they go, okay, they didn't do nothing. And he read it.
Nice.
And then it was like a couple hours later, he was like, yo, man, this is good. I was like, really?
Very cool.
And I said, how would you like to be in the book? And he was like, you gonna put me in the book? I said, yeah. I said, I know the perfect scene for you, because we teased it in book 1, and so it's a setup. There's a charity dinner that we tease in book 1, and that Way of the Gun takes place like 48 hours after the events of book 1. So we'll be going into the charity dinner. And I'm going to have him on the red carpet, like interviewing like Lionel Solomon and the rest of the Covenant people as they're walking up and stuff like that. And he was like, oh, cool. I mean, anybody that is curious who I'm talking about, his name is Dame Drops. He is on YouTube, DAYM Drops. You can type that into YouTube, and he has over 1 million subscribers on YouTube. And he told me, he said, yeah, man, draw me in. I'll throw you a little plug and all that. I was like, yeah. So I did that. Yeah, I did that. And I mean, he started following me on Instagram. And it threw me off. I was like, damn, he followed me. Did you
see Sylvester Stallone did actually rep the comic book for?
He did, but he messed up. Yeah, he tweeted it out, but he just tweeted out some images and he didn't put the link to the damn thing. I saw people in the comments. The people in the comments were like, they dropped in.
Yeah, I mean, he had like 2,000 likes on that thing in like half a second.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm talking about missed opportunities when you're promoting on social media. But I mean, yeah, it's good that he gave a cosign, but he didn't put the link. You understand how much money you cost? I mean, I don't either. He's Sylvester. I get it.
I mean, he probably doesn't deal with that. Like, honestly, let me tell you what that probably is.
It's probably an intern.
Oh, is it?
No, I mean, well, I'm sure it probably is too. But like the whole comic book thing for Sly is probably just a mobile storyboard. It's something he can, show like as a proof of concept. Like, look, this could be awesome, and it already has a built-in, 50, 60, 100,000 people audience.
Yeah, but I just think about the missed dollars because he tweeted that. Although I did see a couple people say I just backed it. I saw as you go. I started reading down the thread because there were people.
You know what I saw? Some really hot, like 40-year-old women.
yeah.
That's what I was like. Damn. I didn't know there was this many.
I suspect I've seen because Sylvester's got some hot ass daughters. I've seen him on Instagram. Sometimes he'll be hugging up on his little girls and stuff. He's got like 5 kids, I think. I know he's got the son with.
Well, I mean, Angie Everhart was one of his like wives, and she's still gorgeous. So
yeah, I remember she used to date Howard Stern. I remember her because I was like, yeah, she was. When Howard broke, him and his wife split up after like 22 years, I think, and he dated
after
Robin
she
Given.
Finally got tired of him cheating with everybody.
Was he cheating?
Yeah, he didn't even hide it. Like he was like, she knew. She knows.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he was he I heard him. He said, "Well, we were kind of at the end. We were having some problems." So that sounds like that's a big problem. But yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that like she was. I don't know. That's got to like weigh on your sense of self. You know what I mean? That your significant other's cheating on you, and there's no, and they're just like, "Hey, I'm sorry, you're just not good enough. I'm going to cheat on you every time I can."
Oh man! But you know what was so funny? I remember Jenna Jameson was in Private Parts.
Yeah.
And she just had and Howard said, I walked in, I was just trying to welcome you.
She's like a born again Christian or something.
Yeah, I know. It's
so weird.
But the movies, all the hundreds of movies live on, thank the Lord. And but Howard talked. She was on the Howard Stern show a few years ago, and I guess they were putting the body makeup on her or something because she was she's supposed to come in her part in the movie. She's supposed to go in the radio station and be nude in there. So they had to put all that body makeup on her and make her look. So he said, he knocked on the trailer and walked in, and he said she was just in there, just looking just incredible. And he said, I wanted you. And she said, if you had made a move, I would have totally done you. He's like, you totally would have got laid if you had made a move. And he was like, oh, don't tell me that. And I'm like, dude, I mean, he was married at the time, but you have to come on, because she was in her prime sexual hotness right there. And she's telling you, if you had just made a move, it would have went down in the trailer. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'd be kicking myself. It's like, what's the guy, Jimmy Fallon, had a chance. There's the clips on YouTube where he had a chance to go out with Nicole Kidman. She thought he was cute, and he pussied out, and he didn't realize that she really. He was like, she came over to his house, and he was all boring and stuff, and he was too afraid to make a move because he didn't want to like creep her out. And she was like, "Yeah, I was waiting on you to make a move," and he's like, you gotta. That would drive me nuts to know that a hot chick like that was into me, and I was just too stupid to know.
Oh fuck! That would bug me for years, man.
Oh yeah, because the look on his face, he's like, "Well, I'm obviously married." And
I don't know. Like when I was in college, I was kind of socially awkward, and so there were a lot of like missed situations that I just did. Like I went over this when I was 19. I went over this 22-year-old's house, and she was like the cool 22-year-old, that like had her own apartment and looked around, had all movie posters and everything. Right? She was her own kind of chick. She had like all these empty like liquor bottles full of colored sand. I just thought she was like the coolest thing ever. And she was pretty. She's a little slender, blonde, like short blonde headed girl, And she had all of a sudden I started noticing like there were all these cans of whipped cream like all over her house. Oh, wow. I mean, just everywhere. And I was like, "Are you like a dessert hoarder or something?" And she sprayed the whipped cream right on her arm and like licked it off. And then she's like, "You want some?" And I'm like,
"Yes."
And
yes,
I
do.
And I was like, "No, I'm not hungry."
What? Dude, what the fuck, man?
I did not get it.
Cool story, bro.
Right over my head. She just stared at me. You just like I'll remember her face and
you just completely deflated.
She was like,
yeah.
She was like, "What?"
Yeah, that's not good, man. I was like,
"Yeah,
oh, God, you could have been swimming in it right there, man." But
oh yeah, she was.
But no, I was totally socially awkward about, even when and people were like, "Dude, she's totally into you." I was like, "No, girls don't like me. What are you talking about?" She's totally into you, dude. Make a move. And then I listened. I remember one time I listened, and they were right. She was into me. I couldn't tell though. Once I knew, but because she was like, yeah, she's like, I was throwing all kind of signals at you, and you just didn't seem to be. I was like, I'm so aloof. I didn't know. I said, but you got to admit, once you gave me the green light, she said, oh yeah. Once the green light came on, it was on. It was on. Yeah, it was on.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But I don't know. There's still some signals I don't see, and I'm like, you just tell me.
Yeah, like I said, I was just totally dumb about women. I just didn't know, which is probably why I was a virgin until I was 25 years old. So I was wow. Yeah.
So you guys, I mean, I don't want to. I started playing in a band when I was about 13 or 14.
Oh no, you was probably swimming in it, bro.
I have never. I've never been single in my life.
He told me the story last night about how he screwed everything up. The girl like laughed at him, and he thought it was horrible. And then the next day, she just came over to his house and dropped her fucking clothes.
Oh, before dinner, that's what happened.
I'm like, what? Like, you suck. when I screw up, they hate me.
They always hate me later. Me later. It's like, even my ex, like we were madly in love, and then now she's like, I tried, but I just hate you. And I was like, damn. I was like, where did this come from? I thought we were getting married. What happened?
Oh, dude. Well, I have to say though, I've got a lot of that going on. So I mean, I got a bunch, a bunch of kids.
Like the joke around Xevious is like whenever he goes out to drink, I'm like, oh, he's about to get married again.
Pretty much.
Yeah, because she said, "Look, you're an awful human being." And I was like,
"Wow."
I was like, really? She's like, "You're horrible."
It sounds like you're, like, I don't know, some sort of deleterious individual selling, children's blood. I mean,
oh God, it was just like she said, I can't believe. She said, I can't believe I allowed you to abuse me for all this time. I was like, I abused you? What are you talking about? I was like,
is this like what was it? The guy from Nerdist that founded Nerdist, and then he had the wife Chloe Dykstra, remember? Remember, and then she like accused him of like you raped me and all this other stuff, and then it was like they started finding out that like on the days and the times just didn't match up. She's like, you did this to me, and then like one of the days it was kind of funny. Like if you look it up, she was actually on an interview with her dad.
Oh, sorry. Let me. Yeah, you're talking about Chris Hardwick, right?
Yeah, Chris Hardwick. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like I said, I'm glad he didn't get. Yeah, I'm just glad that. He still has jobs, and so they took his Talking Dead job and then they gave it back to him. So I was glad.
You know who his wife is, right?
When that whole story, because I actually talked about it on stream and stuff.
Lydia Hearst.
Yep.
Of Hearst Conglomerate Media.
The Hearst family.
Yeah, they were one of the top three, like or where they were one of the first three like newspapers in the world.
Yeah, Rosebud.
So they got money.
Yeah, that's why I was like, because just like Patty Hearst, Patty Hearst with when she joined that, she let those black dudes talk her into raising the power fist and doing all that.
Oh
yeah. But never mind, I'll get in trouble for that. But I was like, that family they got Kate, But yeah, William Randolph Hearst was at one point probably. He had more power than the president of the United States. He was a kingmaker. As I found, I've seen documentaries about his life and stuff like that, and watched Citizen Kane a few times. But
that family is nuts, and they like literally like, But Lydia's. I mean, you could tell she was smart and she was lawyered immediately. Because she was like, I believe in reciprocity and legal action, and I believe in due process, basically. You know what I mean? And and basically what she was saying is, honey, you better be right because I'm coming.
No, I mean that whole the Me Too thing and the abuse stuff or whatever. Like I got a few texts today from Andy Senior. That's the guy who does honest movie trailers with Screen Junkies.
Oh yeah, I've watched that.
So I'm helping him out on a couple things. And again, he's a good dude who just got a really bad. He had one woman kind of just go try to mess up his. Well, she didn't try. I mean, it ruined his career pretty much.
Well, I actually told a story when I was on Sex Party. I was 18 years old and I was dating this girl, and we broke up. And a couple weeks later, we were all at high school together. So I'm walking down the hall, and I know it. Those scenes in the movie where like time stops and everybody's just like looking at you and stuff like that. I'm walking down the hall, and I'm talking about students, teachers, everybody's looking at me. I was like, this is weird. I was like, it was strange. And then we went to lunch, and buddy of mine, he said, hey Tom, I need to tell you something. And I was like, all right. He said, he came over to my lunch table and he sat down with his girlfriend, and he told me that my ex told people that she had to break up with me because she thought I was going to rape her and stuff.
Oh shit!
She had let me touch her boob or her bra, and I got she said, "Oh, she's like, he was touching me, and he got really excited." I was like, "Yeah, I thought I was going to get laid."
Like, honey, that's what happens.
Yeah, because I mean, before I would, she let me like touch over the shirt, and then she actually took my hand and put it under, and I was like, "Oh wow, nice." And let me like play with her bra and play with the bazoombas and whatnot. And we were making out, and we were catching a ride back to the campus, and she was like, so we were in co-op where they get to like the senior class jobs off, like you can actually work during school hours and stuff like that, if you were in the program. So I got her a job. I was working at Hardee's, and I got her a job at my place. She's like, yeah, I thought Antonio was gonna rape me. I broke up with him. And so she told it, and then all of a sudden it spread around like wildfire that I tried to like sexually assault.
I mean, the Me Too movement, like, it started as a decent proposal, but people completely weaponized it.
Absolutely. And it's not that you don't want to believe victims or alleged victims and whatnot, but I'm telling you from a personal perspective, I didn't get no trial or nothing, and all of a sudden I'm a rapist. I was getting painted with that brush.
Well, I mean, I was a manager at Chase Bank in San Antonio, and like there was this girl, I can't remember, Tamara or something like that, and we were having a class together. We were having like a management, it was just a class for human resources and crap that all the management had to take. So we were taking it, and it was just like little quiz or little game. They split you into teams, and you have this game, and you sort of do it. And she had come up with a good answer, so I patted her on the shoulder.
Uh-oh.
Literally, that's it. Patted her on the shoulder. Next day, they were like, "Tamara says you assaulted her, that you harassed her," and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, it's crazy. I was working at Hardee's, and my old manager, this guy named Brad, me and him used to cut up. He promoted me. He made me a assistant manager and all this kind of stuff. I was making good money working for Hardee's. I actually thought that was going to be my career path. When I was 19 years old, and I got promoted to this like little.
I still say they have some of the best biscuits and gravy in the morning.
Oh, dude, they taught me how to roll the biscuits and stuff. But we had people always suing us because you would have to wear them wrists. If you've been doing that every day for like 6 hours a day.
You know, wear the carpal tunnel.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. It was a couple of old ladies, and they start coming in like, "Yo, man, I got y'all got to pay my insurance and stuff." And but yeah, we rolled a lot of biscuits and stuff. But I was good at my job. But Brad told this joke, and he told a joke. It was one, it was like a little bit of racial humor, but I heard the joke. It was innocent. Brad, it's like I said, me and him got along real good. He was 28. He was 28. I was 19. He told a little joke. He and one of the black girls heard the joke, and she called the HR on it.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God. And I heard the joke. I was like, that shit was tame, dude. It was just, I was like, he was just joking around. He said, do you know I had to go to fucking sensitivity training for like 6 weeks because of this bitch?
No,
he said that, they fined me and all this kind of shit. I was like, wow. And I was like, that joke was really tame. And I was like, he promoted my black ass. I knew he wasn't no racist. It was funny. And like, yeah, she called on him, and they made him go to sensitivity training. That was like 94. That was crazy. I mean, he almost lost his job, he told me. And I was like, yeah, they almost fired him.
Can you say what the joke was?
I can't. God, it was, I don't know, it was like white man, black man, and the Polak. I can't remember. It was like, well, yeah, but it wasn't because
like
he said
people walk at a bar and then something happens.
Yeah, it was one of them type of things. He just, but like I said, it was pretty simple. I mean, the black guy was the butt of the joke, and I thought it was funny. I was like, that was actually funny. I mean, we told guys, like, guys, when the guys would get around, we would tell little kind of off color jokes like that. But yeah, he was just sitting around making a joke, and she was there, and then she was like. And she called the HR hotline on him, and they got into it. It was justice was swift, and he said, I had to go to 6 weeks of sensitivity training because of that bullshit. They got him in there watching these damn VCR tapes. And when I went to work for Amazon, they made us watch some of those tapes. They are the worst. Mm. They are the worst. So. And the villain is always the white guy in these. It's always the white guy that needs to learn. So they don't have any videos that I watched. I watched like 7 videos, and there was never a black guy or a Hispanic guy or Asian guy that would be the guy making all these off. It was always the weird white guy that would walk in and go, "Hey, won't you call some of your cousins? And I bet he can help you lift some." That kind of talking to a Mexican dude. There was a scene where there was a gay guy and a straight guy having a conversation, and then this jackass butts in and makes some really inappropriate gay joke or something, and then it's like, and it was an Asian woman and she was pregnant, and he said something. I I was like, who does that? And I was like, it was so strange. Now I kind of miss those. I was like, man, I wish I could get a set of those on DVD because they were like cringe but funny. Because we were laughing.
It all sounds really good, actually. Like just like fucking hilarious.
Oh, it was. Yeah, we were chuckling. And then the HR person, she paused the tape. She's like, I know you think this stuff is crazy, but we have to watch these videos, before you can,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember those. Those were like the stupidest. We had those in in the company I work for now, and in Skull Candy had them, and they're all like, I don't know what company creates those.
Yeah, but they were like,
but they're the goofiest things. Like it'll have some guy, walk up behind a girl and actually like grab her ass. I'm like,
yeah. It was that kind of shit. It was all that.
Nobody.
and then they were showing you the appropriate way to ask a woman out.
And you ever notice like they all look like Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah, it was. Well, no, this guy was he looked like that late night guy that would be on the infomercials like in the late 80s and 90s. He's trying to sell you the slow foam or whatever thing. It's on at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, I want that.
Billy Mayo or
yeah. He was. I mean, he had this weird Mr. Rogers sweater on, and he was like, hey Keisha, how's things working out with you and Tyrone? Bet he likes that ass or something. He would just say dumb stuff like that. And he was like, hey, I've got a joke for you. He'd tell us like horrible racist joke and stuff. And then he'd walk off.
A little white friend that tries to be black, He's
he was
doing that kind of shit. Hey, bros, I'm down with the set.
Yeah. It was 2 black guys. It was 2 black guys sitting there having a conversation. Hey, I've got a joke. And he came in and told like really racist joke. And And then they just kind of like, and he walked off, and they were like, "What is his problem?"
Yeah, I don't. So funny. I grew up in like a poor town, in like a poor rural kind of town, and I played basketball with a lot of the black kids, and me and my friend Brandon Jones, and we got in a few scraps with I guess I don't know, like our own, whatever you want to call it, where the white kids had kind of come over. It was what was funny is it was like the church kids were the ones that came over the most in their little pickup trucks and wanted to fight in the basketball court. And we're like, I remember thinking like, why?
Well, I know from living in the South, I found that religion and racism go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
It seems, it's unfortunate, but it does seem like kind of true, right? I mean, like actually what I'm talking about is upper Northeast or Northeast Florida is where, so.
I've just happened to notice that certain things, it's like I'm a Southern Baptist, and
oh yeah, if you're Southern Baptist, it's kind of like, I've got you're a stick up my ass Protestant, more or less.
No, there was this one girl, and I don't know, it was weird. I don't know. She seemed to hook up with a lot of black guys, but she had that image of being this pristine, innocent person. But I think she was just trying to get even with her dad. Her dad was a minister.
Oh God!
And it's like what they say: cops' kids and preachers' kids are like some of
the.
Yeah. And I mean, she was. I'm telling you, she was busting it open. She was busting it open.
You know, she was like peanut butter, huh? She spread.
Yeah, two or three guys at a time type stuff. She was doing that kind of stuff.
Oh my goodness! I was
like, man, but yeah, she would do stuff, and then her dad had no idea. But she talked about her father, and I met her father. He was nice to me and everything, but she's letting me know. She's like, oh yeah, he's just pretending to be nice. Like he shook your hand and he got in the car and talked about don't bring that N-word around anymore and all this. I was like, really? I was like, he seemed like such a nice guy. I was totally duped. I had no idea.
There's like a Facebook going around right now, which is kind of funny. Is one of those Facebook videos where like this kid, there's a Facebook page called like Good Dad or being like fathering the right way or something like that. Good fathering. And they have this kind of like I don't know, where dads give these sort of like tough love moments. Like there's this one where it is a black family and like the father's his kid is a bully, right? So he takes his kid to a nearby like boxing gym, like a real high class boxing gym, and he pays a professional boxer to have a bout with his kid.
Mm-hmm.
And then the boxer just kind of going off. I mean, I don't think it's quite fair for like a trained 8 hours a day in the gym, muscular 26-year-old to beat the hell out of a 17-year-old kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
no,
that,
that's fine. Yeah.
but yeah, let's see. Hold on. Last Crusade said my mother was Southern Baptist. We left our church when I was 7. Never found out why my mom wasn't a racist. Maybe that was it. But and I'm I'm not. I don't want to paint a broad brush, but I'm just telling you. I know from my experiences with certain, just being a son of the South, I've noticed that, like I said, this guy seemed like a really nice man, and then his daughter comes. He was picking his daughter up. And she told me, like, she came back to the school the next day. She told me that her dad was like, "Hey, don't bring that N-word around anymore." Wow. And I was like, he was super. Hey, Antonio, shook my hand real nice. Oh, okay, hey, nice to meet you. I was, that kind of, he letting her know, hey, when they got in the car, he let her know, hey, no more. Don't do that. Yeah. But it seemed like that pushed her towards black guys for some reason. She was just like trying to rebel, but it was weird.
Yeah,
when anybody tells you something that you can't have, what's your natural?
It's
your natural inclination, and that's actually psychology, because I can't remember. There's a very particular principle, like the collective principle or something, and basically what it states is that the more you try not to think about something, the more it will, it's going to fill your space. Any kind of negative space that you have trying to think, it's going to fill that up. Well, so you're actually going to end up thinking about it more.
Like I said, once I found out that he didn't want me coming around or whatever, I kept the space, but me and her were still cool. She ended up getting pregnant by a black dude. She had a little kid. It seemed like, I'm gonna be honest with you, it seemed like it changed him. Because he loved that little boy, and it didn't seem fake to me. It seemed like he really loved his grandson. But
well, I mean, sometimes there are some, kids are different, right? Because it's difficult to blame a child for anything. So I mean that can break a lot of things. I mean, it's like somebody has a kid, when they're really young and they're completely irresponsible, and then all of a sudden they have to be responsible because they have something to be responsible for.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I talked to her on occasion, and she's like, yeah. She said he it was hard for him when he found out that the father of the baby was black. Yeah, but he supported me, and he got through it, and he loves my son and all this kind of stuff. So it was like, but yeah, he was definitely dropping a few N-bombs and stuff back in the day. But like I said, I saw him. He looked like he took his little grandson to the softball games, and they had their little uniforms on, and little kid looked real happy and stuff. I was just like, okay. I was like, I know.
Kind of reminds me of a story of a comedian, that guy who's in the Eternals now. He had this story about, like, when he was in California and he's growing up, and he dated this white girl, and then, like, he was supposed to go to prom with her or some dance, and his parents got him all dressed up and everything, and she never showed up. And then and he finally, like, he's like, she must be dead, or she must be hurt, and
she must be dead.
Like, he goes to school and she's fine, right? And so he finally, she just like wouldn't talk to him, and finally he gets her and talks to her. She's like, look, I just can't date an Indian guy, okay?
Oh, that's the guy from Silicon Valley.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And
I remember him because when Trump got elected, he immediately spurred out. He said somebody came up to him in a bar, and it was like, hey, Trump's president now. We don't have to. He was with the other nerdy guy that founded Pied Piper, and they were both in the bar together. And he said this guy walked up to him and said something like, hey, Trump's president now. We don't have to put up with your kind or something. You can Google it, because it was so. Wow. I was like, is this a real story? I mean, you can Google it.
But what I think is funny is that, like, he said years later he found her on Facebook. He's like, she was dating an Indian guy with more syllables in his last name than me.
Yeah, well, yeah. I was like, but I thought it was so fun, because I was like, yeah, that dude kind of spurred out. He's like, I can't believe this. We're in California. These things don't happen. He sounded so soy based when he was talking. He was like,
oh God, we're in California. You see the like Ish and Cat, like they're like, we escaped California. They moved to Arizona.
Yeah, I was just. I couldn't believe it, because I was like, dude, you are so over the top. I was like, did that guy really come up and just like, hey, Trump's in office now. We don't have to put up with this. I was like, really?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I've been in some really racist areas, and the stuff that, like, they show on those videos and in movies, I'm like, I've never seen that. I mean, I've seen racism that's like it's more subtle.
Yeah, that's generally,
you know,
now,
like where
I got
like
into a couple of situations where a guy, it was like I'd be there by myself and like three guys would walk up, what's going on, N-word or something, it was. I had this guy.
Yeah, well, I mean,
It
I've
was
had that.
dude. I was going to Central Middle School, and this white kid, he didn't like me, and he was a grade ahead of me, and he started picking on me all the time, and we were in the lunch line. He was tall. He was a big old boy. And he spit on me. And the lunch lady saw it. And I looked at her and she just kept skipping her food. I was like,
she like dug into the mashed potatoes.
Nothing to see here. I was like, he just spit on me. And you saw it.
So what state was this in? Do you mind me asking?
Tennessee. I'm in Tennessee.
He's in Tennessee, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, like when I was in Florida, I remember the first day I moved from California to Florida when I was a kid. We played this volleyball game, and there was, it was very obvious that like the blacks were used to being very tempestuous against the whites or vice versa. There was this kid, Darius.
A lot of racial tension.
Yeah, and I didn't have any of those feelings. I didn't care. I didn't care if you were green. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to be.
Yeah, my friends are always everybody.
Same here. And so we were just playing, and Darius kept like trying to spike the ball at my head, and I'm like, dude, what the hell are you doing? And we kind of got into a fight. Like, that's how we. I mean, but I don't know. Like everybody talks about, confrontation, fighting, yada yada. It's horrible, toxic masculinity. Darius and I were friends like from that point on.
Well, you know what? The guy that spit on me, he we ended up having, because we had a combined, the school was kind of dealing. It's when you first start hearing about like some of the schools, or at least in Murfreesboro, we were a little overcrowded. So he was a grade ahead of me, but he was in my gym class. And so we had to, because by state law you had to take at least have 1 credit of physical education or whatever. And so he was in my PE class, and he pushed me up against the wall and spit in my face again. I was like, and this time I said, phew, and I spit back. He was mad. Boy, I was like, oh boy, I'm about to get my ass kicked. Oh my God, here he goes. And then all of a sudden the bell rang. It was like, he was like, you motherfucker.
He's like, home or Antonio. Never mind, I'm leaving.
Yeah, he was like, I was like, I'm about to get my ass dog walked in here, because he was, like I said, he was way big. I'm fat and out of shape, and these big tall guy plays football. I was like, I'm about to get my ass dog walked up in this locker room, but I'll be damned if I'm just gonna let him spit on me again. That's bullshit. I'm gonna tell you something. He never spat on me again.
Well, I mean, Darius and I never, like, we got in confrontations like all the time, but we never got into a fight again. Like, we got into a fight. We roughed each other up.
Stand up for myself. I think that he was like, oh, he's gonna stand up for himself. I saw him picking on other people, and they wouldn't fight.
The same thing is in like Comicsgate. Comicsgate guy. Like as much as like everybody's a business person and they're intelligent and they're adult. Like it doesn't matter if you're adult, CFO, CEO, president, from NASA. People are people. Okay. And the first thing that people are going to do, if you get them, you get a bunch of people, a bunch of bulls in a pen, is test each other.
Mm-hmm.
And, the way that you test each other, because we can't be physical with one another. So the way that you can test each other is you're going to screw with each other. You know what I mean? You're going to, oh yeah, I think your line work here kind of sucks. Zevious, your coloring, man, what the hell? Like, what is this, purple? What are you, a fairy? What's going on, man?
Hey, man, I'd love, bring it on. I'd love to explain.
That's what I said. I said, look, you want to, I wrote a post today, and I'm like, look, this is what they do. You know what I mean? You want to like yell at me? You want to like say something to me? You want to meme me? You want to like do any of that? Bring it on. I grew up with my father was a force recon drill instructor. I grew up with a dude that the entire time, I grew in high school. He would say, "Grab your cock," grab your socks, let go of your cock. It's time to go.
Yeah, drop your My dad was 23 years in the Army. Drop your cocks and grab your socks.
It's time to go. And he's like, "Come on, boys." If I spent more than 5 minutes in the shower, it's like, stop pulling your pud. Let's move it. Yeah.
But like I said, I always remember that, because that really, like I said, the first time he spit on me, I didn't do anything, and I was looking at this woman, wanting her to. I'm like, you just saw what he did,
Yeah.
and you could do something, and you just like.
Well, I mean, I worked at UPS. I was a like a little. I mean, I didn't do much. I was just like a sorter, like small parcel sorter or something. I think is what they call it. And we were up for like there was like all of us had come at the same time, and we were supposed to be up for a promotion. And Darius was a guy that I had brought with me. My dad worked for UPS as an aircraft mechanic, and he got me the job, and then I got Darius the job. Darius was faster than me. He was better than me, and they wanted to like skip over him. They didn't even want to give him an interview for this position, the downstairs position. I can't remember what it was, but it was like it paid like $2 more an hour, you know. And they were going to skip over him, and I remember going to my boss and being like, you know, why are you skipping over Darius? Like, it's really obvious that Darius is faster than me, that he's better than me. The metrics are, you know, he's got higher metrics than me. Like, I'm not, you know, I mean, I'd like $2 an hour too, but like, he's better. So why wouldn't you choose him? And I was just like, I honestly was naive. I thought they had just not seen it.
No, trust me. Well, I worked for a company called Mapco for 10 years, and I became friends with a buddy of mine, Freddie Crutchfield, and he was the district manager. And they would have these contests, you know, where they would have the different districts competing against each other and stuff. He was like district manager of the year, like 3 years in a row. And whenever a promotion to area manager would come up, they would skip over him and give it to the white guy.
Wow.
They did that to him like 3 times. He finally was like, oh, the hell with this. He did it shit for like 6 years. And he was like, they are on some bull. And then so he just went and he went to one of the Shell or one of those companies. He's working for another company and they gave him more money. So he was like, all right, cool. Because I mean, he came in, he'd been in Army for like 13 years, you know, had his little masters and all that kind of stuff. And you know, he was used to, and his, like I said, he was real strict about certain things that he was setting up, you know, when like we'd be launching a new product, he wants the coupons right there. And you know, he would come, I mean, he was real. He would go, he had 13 stores in our district, and he would have to go to each one, and he would rearrange all the signage. Hey, when you come in tomorrow, I want you to straighten this out and do this. He was real. I mean, and he used to get on my nerves. I was like, damn, not again with this coupon shit. But then the numbers came out, and our district was number 1 for like 6 months in coupons. They were tracking. They were like, man, Freddie's stores have the highest coupon rates of all of our other stores. I mean, he was breaking all kind of records, his fuel sales, all this kind of stuff. And then the one guy golfs with the owner of the company, and all of a sudden he gets promoted, even though his numbers weren't anywhere close to Freddie's. And Freddie was like, okay, well, I'm not golfing with the boss. I get it. You know, then it happened again, and the other guy was tight with the old area manager, and the old area manager said, hey, it's between these two, and Freddie was one of them, and he said, I think you should give it to him. Boom, same thing. And this is what it is. So he was just like, yeah, they wanted me to stay, but it's just, yeah, I can't, because I'm not ever going to get any higher than this.
That sucks, man, when that happens. Like some of that now, like I have seen that happen where the guy is so good, because that's even, I've been tempted not to promote somebody, not for reasons of like, you know, I mean, he was a black dude, but it wasn't because he was black. It was because he was so good that like I was going to suffer.
You needed him to keep,
you know, and so it was selfish, but I was like, and I told him that. I said, look, I'm like, I really don't want to do this. I'm not going to lie. I don't want to do this because you make my job so easy. You know, and I know that the next guy isn't, but I tried to get him a raise. I was like, look, I can get you a raise, but your ceiling is definitely higher over there. I'm not gonna lie.
So you got crazy stories. I've never had a job outside of a paper route when I was like 12. So yeah, those politics. It's hard for me to kind of get my head around that.
That's the difference between like when like I said, I worked for Amazon until last year. It was like almost 7 years of working for Amazon. they when I walk in, you go through security, and there's a big old sign. It's like, we are proudly an affirmative action company, and they were hiring. It was the reverse. They were so adamant about hiring people. It didn't have anything to do with whether they were qualified or not.
Yeah.
And then it was a couple of black dudes that got hired, and we were all looking around.
I'll tell you what, Boeing's suffering because of that right now.
Yeah, I was just like, no, they hired this dude. And he had all these degrees. He had got out of the military about 10, 12 years. He'd been in the army and had a couple of different degrees. And all of a sudden he got up on the floor and he was trying to like track our orders and stuff. He was confused. He didn't know what was going on. And everyone's like, and then so the guy under him is having to help him out. And I was like, he's just not, it's like 6 months in, he's not picking it up. And they can't fire him now because it's like, you can't fire him because he's the only black manager we have in this department.
That's right.
And I was like, why not? He's not good. At that point, and other black people were getting mad at me. It was like, hey, he's the only black guy we have. I was like, he's not any good. Do you not recognize he's making our job hard?
Yeah.
He sucks. I was like, get him out of here.
I want to ask you both a question about Comicsgate and comics in general. When I said I've never had a job, I just meant I've been an artist, like running my own company.
Well, to me, that's having a job, but it's not having to work for the man, as they say.
Yep. But what I find is that every time I'm on a stream or talking to somebody, listening to whether it's Meyer or whoever, you guys, there's always a military. Everybody's really tied to that. Like growing up, all my friends, I went to the comic book store just like less than a week ago with a soldier. My best friends in the world, military guys. You guys, buddy, your dad was military. Were you, Antonio? You said your dad was military too.
23 years, yeah.
Okay, yeah. What do you think it is between comic books and army guys? Because there's definitely something there.
I have no idea, but I do notice we have a very strong military presence in Comicsgate. I do.
Well, I mean, a lot of it is that a lot of military guys were Western fans. Like a lot of the older military, they're kind of Western fans. And the thing is, though, is that what is the military? Like, if you think of the military as like in a childhood idyllic sense, what do you think? They're heroes, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do we like stories about? Heroes. They're a little bit more fantastic.
Okay, but that might be a little deep. Like for me, everybody who knows me knows I'm a Star Wars guy. That's how I got here.
So as am I.
And I'm 501st Legion. I've probably built 5 Stormtrooper costumes. I've got one behind me on a mannequin. I mean, that's my thing. So why do I hang out with army guys though? The last 20 years? Because I'm an art school nerd,
Well, I mean, army guys spend the thing is they work. Usually when you're in the army, you don't work more than the 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And in the military, when you're in the military, they tell you when your free time is, and they usually tell you, what the kind of available, activities you have for free time are. You know what I mean? And if you're TDR, there's a lot of people, comic books that's what Richard said, what got him into it. He went to the military, he had time off, he went to, the new town, he got the comics. That was something to do, something he could take back with him. That was his, that was, that he could read whenever. Right. And so it was something to that. I mean, there's something to that. That's like that escapism that kind of keeps your mind working. Who was it? I mean, it was some people, I read an article a few months ago about a vet that he had one of the first what was it? Gauntlet or something games. I don't know, it was some video game that he had on a laptop, and nobody else had one, right? And he's like, I just left it on at night. He's like, when I got done with it, I would just leave it on, and sometimes he'd wake up and he'd see a guy playing it, and I remember there's a big D&D community. Dungeons and Dragons is huge.
I have a couple of friends of mine that are huge D&D. I mean, the dude came with, he had Advanced Dungeons and Dragons edition number 3 or whatever, and he'd give me this thing, and I was like, so he had the dice and he had a couple of the statues, and he was like, yeah, I'm gonna paint these. And I mean, he was at my comic shop, I used to see those little pewter statues. Those things were expensive, some of them.
Oh yeah. Well, they've gotten bigger now because there was a group 3 years ago that came out, Critical Role, which were basically really pretty voice actors who started playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Didn't they have that Kickstarter about a year and a half ago?
Yeah,
or something? Yeah, that thing was massive.
$1 million in 2 days.
I saw that. I started following them. I signed up to their YouTube and stuff.
Yeah,
they had that massive YouTube, that massive Kickstarter. I was like, damn.
They have live streams with like 200,000 people watching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can see that, which is weird because like I've watched Comics Explained, and he does a live stream every now and again on his YouTube channel, and the most I'll see in his chat are maybe 2,500, 3,000 for someone that has almost 2 million subs. That's a little strange. Maybe a lot of dead accounts or something.
It's a matter of engagement. It's a different kind of engagement. You have to think about, if you're into a role-playing game, they have 3 to 4 hour live streams. They don't have 200,000 people for like 5 minutes and then some people bug out. They have 200,000 people for 3.5 hours. Then not only that, those same people are so excited. They get on their own YouTube channels and review everything for days. And they have an art channel on Twitter. It's got millions of followers.
Oh, man.
And it's literally just a channel where people send art to be shown.
It's just a passionate, because that's why I'm like, one thing I've enjoyed about watching Cecil's campaign for Cash Grab. Man, he's getting all this fan art and all this. I mean, people are really.
Have you read what Cecil's put out? Like, okay, I've been reading like a ton of books on marketing and negotiation and tactics. Cecil is, I don't know if he was trained in it or educated in it. He is a natural negotiator, tactician, and marketer.
Oh yeah.
He appeals to emotion. He turns everything into a story. It's funny. It's interesting. It captivates you. It's a call to action. It's always like, get this, it'll help you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was like, no, I'm telling you, man. I mean, I've admired his hustling. You know,
he has got it, man. I mean, he has and you got to say this too. Cecil is loyal. Like, he's chosen his friends, and he sticks with those friends no matter what.
And I respect that as well, but he got me as a backer.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I backed Cash Grab. I backed like 32 projects, I think. So it's like
I don't know. Like, I'm picky. I'm not gonna lie.
I like to think that I didn't buy anything I didn't want to buy. I see some people, they buy everything. They buy it doesn't matter.
Somebody makes like a book for like 8 cents, And
I was like, look, I know this person is Comicsgate, but I'm not just backing you because you're Comicsgate. I have to want to actually read.
Yeah, you got to want the book, I bought into Martina's book because I thought Martina seemed cool.
Mm-hmm. And she cool people. Yeah,
I talked to her a couple times, and then we had some DMs, and I wrote an article on her, and I was like, okay, you know what this chick is? Like, it's kind of interesting. This chick is like a really beautiful, but like ridiculously intelligent woman.
Oh, she's a sweetheart. She lets use her character and stuff, and
exactly. And she studied she studied math and science at an art university. She's this person who expresses logic through these really complicated dance, choreographies. You know what I mean? And it's really it's gorgeous, and she's nude in most of them. So if you want to go check them out, go to her Facebook, Negredo, Albedo. They're different kind of alchemical processes that she explains by lathering herself in body paint and dancing naked, around a dance set. I would recommend anybody because she's beautiful to look at. So, but she's also brilliant, and I can't wait to see what that kind of mind comes up with. Especially now paired with Matthew Weldon.
Yeah, I'm glad Matthew, because I know I had sent her someone that I thought could help her as well, and then I saw she hooked up with Matthew, and I was like, Matthew's dope. I love Matthew's work.
Yeah, I don't want to knock the last guy. I don't actually know his name, but
I don't either.
I think it was Moz or something like that.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah.
I just did a promo video for Psycho 66, and the guys. They sent me all that art about a week and a half ago. So I've had full screen, dual monitors of Weldon art for the last 10 days, and he's good. I mean,
I look at his art every day. That's all.
I said, I've got his. I hired him today to do, to do something for me. We haven't decided what he wants to do, because I kind of leave that to artists.
Cool. He's such a nice guy. That's the good thing about it.
Yeah, he's a technician or something at at an aircraft company. And I was like, "Are you an A&P?" He's like, "I don't know what an A&P is, but probably."
Yeah, but like I said, he's. I just like the fact he's a super nice guy.
Mm-hmm.
I like him. I like Rob Willis. It's a lot of these artists. So, and I definitely and even though Kaney gets on my nerves, I like him sometimes. I think just sometimes, not all the time. Other times he's a jerk and he gets on my nerves.
I hear you. Like, I work with Buddy so much that one of these days we're going to have a blowout. Hasn't happened yet.
Whew, but I like I said, I am looking forward to seeing Mr. White as he, when he has to fly down here and we have to
have your director's cut. Create your director's cut.
Do all that, because I can't wait to open that file and just go through the book and be like, okay, so we kind of.
Are you gonna make it all theatric?
I just want to talk about what I was thinking when I wrote it, and things that we might have changed and all that. I'm excited to talk about it with Kane, and I think
So are you going to record it and make it a slick edit? Or are you going to stream it, or what's the plan?
I'm just we're just gonna do it on StreamYards. It'll just be unlisted, and I'll give it to all the backers, the ones that bought it anyway.
Okay, I'll definitely watch that. That sounds pretty cool.
Well, all right, guys. We've been going for a minute, but I've enjoyed the conversation. Is there anything, Mr. Lord or X? Would you guys like to say anything before we get up out of here?
Go check out BladeNite.com. Sign up for the mailing list. If you want to see Sins of the Fae or Sway, Sins of the Fae is going to be a great book colored by Xevious. The art is by Hosan, and the story is epic. If you like world building, if you like hot chicks, rifles, magic, and dragons, I got you.
I just based on what we saw here, it definitely looks like you got everything. It looks real cool. What about you, X?
I want to first of all say thanks for having me on. This is a lot of fun.
It was a good stream.
I've watched probably every single morning stream you did with Ethan. So.
Yeah, I missed the morning show. Ethan used to send me the link, and we used to get it in. Man, I used to love that. So.
Yeah, and otherwise, I mean, I recognize a bunch of people in the chat, but anybody watching this later on replay, I'm Xevious on Twitter. I've got a lot of art coming out in the next few weeks, so come say hello, give me a follow, whatever.
All right. Well, all right, guys. Again, let me remind you, join me Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this channel.
Yes.
Chuck Dixon, Richard C. Meyer. We will be talking about the Expendables Go to Hell. And I'm really excited about that. So come back and let's have some fun in that chat. As always, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, right here on this YouTube channel, everywhere is at Ikari Press. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're out.
And good night.